What's going on, guys? 3:30 a.m. in the morning. I'm supposed to go to Austria, or Österreich as the locals call it. Getting up in the morning never gets easier. Crazy, right? Anyways, give me 5 more minutes and I'll get up. I made it. Been up since 3:30 a.m. but here we are in Tyrol, experiencing the snow-covered trees and nature. So today we're going to be talking about how to work with brands, how to get them to work with you, how to travel the world for free, how to basically do what I'm doing, and I will catch up with you guys in a bit for tip number 1. So here we are at Puberg Lake, Austria, with the mountain right over there, and let's get ready for tip number 1. So tip number 1 is content. Content is king, content is key. So what I mean by content is, create your own style. Make the colors, if you want to make the colors bright, then make them bright. Or if you want to go for a more moody tone, then go for a more moody tone. Also, descriptions are very, very important. With descriptions, sometimes ask the people that are liking or following you, ask them questions, so in turn that will raise your engagement rate. But most important is your feed. Like, it has to look beautiful, so that when brands or potential people are looking at your work, they can see a nice flow of the same kind of tone, the same kind of colors. So most importantly, the feed, the aesthetics, and keep it to your style. Brands, they want to see someone that has great content. When they look at your feed, they want to see a nice feed that goes down. Your first 3 photos will determine if the brand will work with you or not. So tip number 1 is make sure your content is up there. Make sure you're having smashing photos. Make sure you have amazing photos. And once you've got that knocked down, you can continue to step number 2. Tip 2, all about engagement and reach. Now, brands, all they care about is reach. So if you're reaching 5,000-6,000 people, that's awesome. That'll get them 5,000-6,000 people to view their stuff. But if you're only reaching 1,000 or 2,000 people, then they're most probably not going to work with you because the reach isn't high enough. Same goes with engagement. If you have an engagement of 1%, the brand won't work with you because an engagement of 1% means only 1% of your following is going to actually, interact with that sponsored post. Whereas if you have 12, 15, or however many percent, then that percentage that you have is going to react with the brand's post. So remember that engagement and reach are 2 fundamental things that you need for brand posts. And that is because brands, all they care about is how much people are going to see my post, how much people are going to see my clothing line, my shopping bag, my travel bag, whatever you decide to, whatever the brand decides to sell, all they care about is one, the quality of the content, like we mentioned before, and how many people can you show their product to. Tip number 3, back from my own home. Yeah, back in England, but you know what I hate about spring and just the end of winter? It's hay fever. Hay fever's gotta be one of the most worst things that I've ever encountered and have to experience, and that's because it's basically like living with a cold for 3 months, where your nose is stuffed and your eyes are watering, everything just becomes all itchy. So this is to all my hay fever homies out there, and girls, fight through it, don't worry, it'll be over in the next couple of months. Anyways, now back to tip number 3. So tip number 3 is all about reaching out. Now what do I mean by reaching out? So what I did and what I still do over 20-30 times a day, if I actually have time, is I reach out to the brands. So in saying that, I go onto the Instagram and I look at specific brands that I want to work with, and let's say that they have their email in their bio. So you know how with a business account you have the email right at the bottom and you can click it. So instead of like going on their website or something and you only get the info@soandso.com, right? No one's ever going to look at the info. They might like forward it to someone in charge, but most of the time the email address that they put on the Instagram account is linked to their social media, so you're going to get a 10 times better response rate from them if you actually send it to the right department or the right person. So what you have to do is take out maybe like an hour, 2 hours, or as much time as you have, and try email at least 20 different brands. You might get 2 or 3 responses, you might even get a deal out of those responses or even a lead, but make sure you put down a list of the people that you want to work with and then hit up their email inside their Instagram. So it'll be like social@soandso.com or Instagram@soandso.com. Do that 20-30 times, and in that way you'll be putting yourself out there, and you'll be reaching out to them, and you'll have a stronger chance of them actually, seeing your work and actually getting a reply from them. It's important to draft a really nice letter. So you'll be talking about why you want to work with them, why you can benefit them, or like why you're a good fit for them, and so and so. So there's actually a lot of templates on Google. If you just search how to create a template to work with brands, you should be sorted. But tip number 3, put yourself out there, reach out to brands, hit up their email section in the Instagram bio, do at least 20 or 30, and you should get at least 2 or 3 replies. It actually gets much harder to talk when you have hay fever, because your throat gets all itchy and your eyes. I just want to itch my eyes all the time, but that doesn't look very great on camera. And then my nose, you can just feel like the tension in the nose. But anyways, let's stop complaining and get on with tip number 4. So tip number 4 is all about networking. Now you may have heard this a lot in any other photography thing that you've been researching or talking to your friends about. Networking is something that I don't do as much as I should, and if I probably did it more, I might get more leads and meet new people. But networking is a fundamental thing to working with different people, working with different brands. And you might wonder, like, what is the benefit of just meeting people when everyone's in it for themselves and no one really gets back to you after you meet them at the meetup. But sometimes you might meet someone and they might be working for that company or that brand, or have connections within that brand, and you might hit it off well, you might actually become friends, and then you can ask them and say, hey, you mentioned you were working for so and so, could you put my name in, or show them my work. So instead of being a nobody and reaching out to them through email and be like, hey, my name is Nick and I think I'm a great fit for your company because so and so and I have this many followers, if you actually have someone on the inside, then it makes it 10 times easier to actually get that brand deal, because that person will vouch for you And who knows, you might already be high up, or you might be friends with the person that actually makes the deals. So meeting people that are actually, you know, in the brand or working for the brand makes it 10 times easier to actually close those deals. So for example, one friend, he went to a event and he met this guy who worked for Samsung, and through that he actually got a Samsung deal worth of 1 year. So had he never met that guy that worked for Samsung, who then, you know, gave his work to the other person that does the whole Instagram for Samsung, he would have never, most probably never got that deal, because he would have had to go through the lengthy process of Samsung going, okay, go to this person, go to that person, go to that person. So networking, not only is it great for brands, but it's also great for meeting new people in your industry, going out to shoot with new people, and all that kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure you know the benefits of networking, so I'm not actually going to get into that. But get out there, get out to meets, get out to any networking event you can. And who knows, you might snatch that massive brand deal with that new person that you met. And always, 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 always follow up with the people that you met. So the next day, don't like message them an hour later, because that's super creepy. But the next day, just be like, hey, it was great to meet you. Let's stay in touch. Or if you actually hit it off with them really well, you know, and you had like a click or a bond or whatever you call it, you know, ask them to hang out, ask them to go for a coffee, whatever you want to do. But try to establish that contact, especially if it's a good lead, and especially if they work for someone that you want to actually work for, or want to be, you know, affiliated with, or whatever they call it nowadays. So tip number 4, definitely do a lot of networking. So tip number 5 are just general tips on how to reach to brands and actually how to start working with brands. So recently when I went to Austria, I looked at Instagrammers that were from Austria, and because you want to get the best type of content when you go to somewhere else, right? So I reached out to these various different people, and I was in contact with them throughout the whole trip, and I asked them, hey, so I want to get these and these and these shots, where can I go? And if you're lucky enough to have someone that really, really helps you, then you can get like really, really awesome shots, and you basically have a set of different locations which you hit up every day, and it makes life so much easier because you don't have to find it yourself. You get these hidden locations, you basically traveling with the locals. So if you're traveling, I would highly recommend to hit up the place you're going. So let's say it's Austria, you'd look at the hashtags of the exact place you're going, or just type in Austrian. There should be a lot of lists that comes down when you're searching for stuff. The second thing is that you need to build a media kit. Now if you Google media kit, you'll come across what a media kit actually is. It's basically a condensation of all your stuff inside one page. So why you're a good fit to them, your social reach, your followers, all that kind of stuff that you put in an email, it's all in one pamphlet and leaflet. So it makes it 10 times easier for brands just to look at you and go, alright, cool, he's got this engagement, he's got this reach, he's got this amount of followers, and then either they're going to bin it or they're going to reply to you. So media kit is essential. Next one is engaging with the brands. So how you engage with your followers, or how you engage with other people that you follow, or even through hashtags, or however you engage with people on Instagram, do the same thing with brands. So follow all the brands that you want to work with, or follow smaller brands that you want to work with, and comment on their photos, like their posts, look at their stories. In that way they'll actually like see you in their comments, they'll see you in the like section as well, and they'll see you in the hashtags. They might even feature you, and that way they'll start to know about you, and maybe within a month, 2 months, or even after they see your photo for the first time, they might think, oh, this is an awesome photographer, let's go check out his work. So the more you tag the brands, the more you actually interact with them, the more they start to know about you, and then maybe you'll get a chance for them to reach out to you. At the start you might face mad rejection. You might think like, I'm sending out 50, 60 emails a day and I'm only getting 1 reply or no replies. But that's just what it takes. That's just a hustle to becoming, you know, a travel photographer, someone that travels and gets funded by brands to actually travel. So, you know, don't worry about the rejection. Just keep going, and with perseverance and with persistence, you'll get at least 2 or 3 brands that are going to work with you, and from there on, it's word of mouth. People start talking about you, and you should blow up. But remember, like I said in the first tip, your content is the most important one, because that's in the end what they're going to look at. Last and final tip in the general tips is, if you have the budget and if you can, go out as much as you can to different places, even if it's still only in that one country. Go out to different cities, because then if you can work with your country's like government travel organization, or like a massive organization inside your own country, like so let's say I work for Visit England or Love England or one of the massive travel organizations here. If I put out work there, then I can use that work or that campaign, and I can go to like Travel Canada or any other country and be like, hey look, I worked with them, this is my work. So do as much curated content as you possibly can. So if you live in England or Spain, France or Switzerland, and you don't actually have the budget, then go out in your own country. I know Switzerland, for myself, has a ton of amazing landscapes, and if you visit every single state, you're bound for them to reach out. So if you can't travel to different places and reach out, you know, to the Instagrams of those different places, then do it in your own country. Do it as much as you can. Interact with those selected amount of Instagrammers in your country, the organizations inside your country. See if you can work with them first before venturing out. So most important tip is get out there, curate your content as much as possible, and hopefully in the next few weeks, months, you'll start to get brands to notice you. Another thing that I actually forgot to mention is advertise as much as you can for any brand that you like. So, you know, in all my videos, I take this Canon lens cap and I go. By doing that, maybe, who knows, eventually Canon might see it and go, wow, he uses all of our products, he must know them, and blah blah blah, right? So in that way, you're free advertising for them, but you're making them start to know you, you're making them get to know you. So whatever brand you like, just advertise as much as you can for them. That is it for today. As always, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and please hit the bell, because that helps a lot, and that means you'll see my posts and my videos whenever I upload them, and as soon as I upload them. So hit that bell, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!